All right, let's talk about business plans. Business plans are one of my pet peeves in this life. So let me first describe what a business plan is. It's a plan that you write out and you detail about how you're going to basically roll out your business. And business plans will include projections about how much you're going to make and what you're going to do and all this kind of stuff and how much you're going to spend. And if you're going to go to the bank to get a loan, which is kind of a quaint old idea, I don't think banks loan people money these days for businesses. I'm exaggerating, of course, but if you're going to go see a hedge fund, you're going to see VCs to finance your business, you're going to go see investors. A lot of times they're going to say, we need to see a business plan. Now, experienced business people will tell you that when you're starting any new business plans are kind of a silly thing. It's a pretty silly thing, and it's almost a totally wasted exercise. Now, this goes against what they're going to teach you in university, but I can tell you, I've been in business for nearly 30 years, starting several businesses, and I've had many friends who've been in business, and my family members have been in business. Yes, business plans, if you're going to go see the bank to get money, they're going to want to see a business plan just because that's what they've been taught to do. But it's urban myth. It's not something that's relevant at all. And I'll tell you why. Because when you're starting out a new business, unless it's like a franchise, like a McDonald's, where the whole business model is given to you, where everything is worked out and you just got to execute on the business model, like a franchise, like McDonald's, like a Wendy's, or any chain stores that you see out there. I'm going to go off on a little tangent. When you become a franchisee, like you get a McDonald's, you get a Costco location, if they franchise. I don't know if they franchise Costco's, but you get a McDonald's or Wendy's or whatever place that's franchised out, coffee shops, a Starbucks. The reason you get a franchise is because you have the entire business model, one of the reasons anyway, is you have the entire business model worked out for you right from the get-go. You don't have to figure out what the product is. You don't have to figure out how to sell it and the packaging and the pricing. You don't have to figure out anything. It's all there. You're just an operator. When people buy into franchises like a McDonald's or a Starbucks or whatever it is, a shoe store maybe, they're entrepreneurs, but in a kind of a weak way, a low-level way, in the sense that you're not really inventing a business. You're just operating a business. And there's an investment up front you got to pay to buy we'll say McDonald's. I'll use McDonald's as an example because it's the biggest franchisor, biggest franchisor in the world. So if you want to get into McDonald's, you have to go see the McDonald's Corporation. You would have to buy a store or maybe establish a new store, although all the best locations are probably taken by now. And you buy a McDonald's franchise and everything is handed to you. You just got to operate. Now the thing about a franchise is that you got to do exactly what they say what they tell you to do. You don't have much flexibility there because they don't want you to do something stupid that makes McDonald's look bad and it reflects badly on all McDonald's. So anyhow, a true entrepreneur, in my opinion, is somebody who invents their own company, their own product from scratch. Whether you invent a new type of, your own coffee shop, where you have your own blends of coffee, or your own fast food joint, where you have your own burgers and stuff that you do. That's much more of an entrepreneur because you're literally inventing the product from scratch. Now, when you're entering a new business like that, where the business has no track record whatsoever, business plans are next to useless because you have literally no idea what's going to happen in the first few years of the business. You don't know. Now, if you're experienced as a entrepreneur, then you have a pretty good idea what the succession will be in terms of the stages of how businesses develop, and you have good strategies that you can implement to maximize the chances that the business is going to be successful and to minimize any financial risk that you'll have. Now, that is true, but that's not really a business plan. That's just understanding how to create businesses, how to be an entrepreneur. A business plan is very specific to the business. As I said, they'll try to plan out projections in terms of sales and expenses and what you're going to do. And it's nonsense. It never works out, especially in the first couple of years, 2 to 3 years, because you don't know what's happening. Now, business plans can become a little bit useful once you're maybe 3 to 4 years into a business, because at this point you have a track record to look back upon. You have 3 years of data that you can measure against, and you can make projections based on the previous years. But when you're first starting out, and one of the things that really baffles me is that this whole idea of writing the business plan. Yes, so are you? Yeah, you write the business plan. Will help you to organize and to plan and to make sure you're not doing anything silly. If you write a business plan in the first year, it should be super, super lightweight, meaning very, very, very thin. Because again, all these assumptions you're going to make in your business plan in the first year or two that you have a brand new business, they're just that. They're just assumptions. They're guesses. Assumptions is a fancy word for guess. You're just going to be guesses. And I can tell you from experience, not just my own, everybody I've ever seen, you have no idea what's going to happen. I'll use a very big example, just because we're in that time now, is Facebook. Zuckerberg said himself that he had no idea what was going to happen with Facebook. He had no idea where it was going to go. He thought it was a whole different type of business the first couple of years. So his business plan, I'm sure they made him write a business plan in the first year. Where'd it go? It went nowhere, because everything changes all the time. One of the most important skill sets of an entrepreneur is they got to be flexible and they got to be able to pivot. Pivot is one of those words that they like to use in the investment community. You got to be able to pivot and change based on what happens to you when you're out there trying to sell your product or service. That's number one. I'll give you a few other qualities of a good entrepreneur. A good entrepreneur is somebody who's willing to admit they're wrong. They got to admit they're wrong. Now, there's this idea in movies that the entrepreneur, the business owner, leader is like some mean guy. It's like a caricature. And he's super arrogant and crazy stupid. It can happen, I suppose. The best entrepreneurs are very humble. It's kind of a weird dichotomy. You have to be humble, and you have to recognize that you will be wrong many times as a business operator or a business owner, as an entrepreneur. But at the same time, you also have a certain amount of self-confidence to be able to carry your way through when you hit those valleys that you're going to hit as you're trying to build your business. Even when the business is well established, you're going to have peaks and valleys in terms of how well it does. And that's where the self-confidence has to come in. But at the same time, you also have to be willing to accept you're wrong so that you can correct mistakes and reposition and move forward with things. So there you go. Business plans, I think, are of very limited use, especially in the first couple of years, 2 to 3 years of a business, simply because you have no track record to measure against. So you're going to be making all these assumptions and calculations in your business plans based on nothing. And I can tell you, unless you're really lucky, you're not going to be off with your business plan. You're going to be totally off with your business plan. So unless they absolutely demand a business plan, if you're getting a bank loan or I don't know, some brain dead partner who demands a business plan or something, don't waste your time. Just a quick outline. Just make sure you go in there. Don't spend money you don't have. Only spend when you need to spend. Be nimble. Be humble. But also have the self-confidence to know that the number one quality of every entrepreneur is consistency and persistence. Same thing, variations perhaps of the same concept. Yeah, persistence. We'll just leave it at that. You want to be a successful business person? You got to be persistent. Number one. All right, I hope this is useful. A little off on a tangent here, but why not? If you want to learn more about becoming a freelancer, you want to be an entrepreneur, then you can check on the links below and you can learn a few things maybe. All right, I hope this video is useful to you. Hey guys, it's 5 in the morning. I thought that a shot of the city while everything is still quiet would be kind of interesting.